The Blue Hole. Around 153,000 years ago, before the last ice age began and before Homo sapiens migrated out of Africa, a giant cave started forming off the coast of near modern-day Belize. While the ice age had Earth in its grip and the sea levels were so low that land masses connected the British Isles to Europe and Russia to Alaska, the carve continued its formation. It formed in three significant bursts: 66,000 years ago, 60,000 years ago, and just as the Ice Age was nearing its end, 15,000 years ago. Then the ice melted, ocean levels rose, separated Britain from Europe and Russia from the Americas, and flooded the Belize Cave, creating the largest underwater sinkhole on Earth. Today, the Great Blue Hole is located 40 miles off the coast of Belize and is part of the Barrier Reef Reserve System, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It has a circular shape with a diameter of over 1,000 feet and is over 400 feet deep. It has fascinated scientists, historians, and divers since 1971 when underwater explorer Jacques Cousteau visited it with his ship Callisto. The 1971 expedition. Cousteau went to the Blue Hole with a specific purpose to chart its interior. In 1971, next to nothing was known about the hole or its origins. Cousteau found answers, but only enough of them to inspire more curiosity and turn this underwater mystery into a major tourist destination. The expedition found formations of karst limestone and stalactites. Both had been formed before the rise of sea level, which meant that this deep sinkhole used to be an enormous cave above ground. Some of the stalactites were tilted by about 5 degrees, indicating an underground plateau shift at some point in the past several thousand years. Due to the complete darkness inside the Blue Hole, there was not much more Cousteau's 1971 expedition could find. Then 40 years later, his grandson Fabien Cousteau arrived with a team of scientists, explorers, and filmmakers. The 2018 expedition. By the time Fabien Cousteau arrived in December 2018, the Great Blue Hole had become a major attraction for tourists and divers. What lay hidden in its depths, however, was still a mystery due to the complete impenetrable darkness inside the 1,000-wide hole. At 300 feet, the hydrogen sulfide layer in the hole cuts out all the light. Beyond that border, all you can see is black. But with advanced technology, Cousteau was able to pull back the curtain almost completely. His team used submarines and sonar scanning in the cave, creating footage and a 3D map of its interior. One of the bigger discoveries came at 407 feet deep, stalactites of mineral formations shaped like icicles. And then came another discovery. The very bottom of the cave, observed for the first time by a human eye, had huge track marks. Instead of its roaring waves and scary storms, the calm ocean offers amazing natural wonders below its otherwise uncertain surface. The Great Blue Hole of Belize, located off the coast of Belize on the eastern coast of Central America, is one of such existing wonders. It lies close to the center of Lighthouse Reef, an atoll about 100 kilometers from the mainland city of Belize. It's located in the Lighthouse of Reef Atoll, one of the 3 atolls of Belize. There are 5 islands inside the reef, popular ones being Half Moon Cay, Ambergris Cay, and Long Cay. Another beautiful place is the Turnip Islands. These places are fascinating and perfect for full-day trips. Researchers say this giant underwater sinkhole was made by the collapse of cavern formed during the glacial ages tens of thousands of years ago. This swallow hole is one of the world's most famous diving zones and is home to the Caribbean reef sharks, nurse sharks, hammerhead sharks, and black-tip sharks. The hole forms a perfect circle amidst the coral reef, known as the Lighthouse Reef, and is also a part of the Belize Barrier Reef Reserve System, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Great Blue Hole of Belize features more than 300 meters across and 125 meters deep. Researchers consider the Great Blue Hole the largest of its kind and discovered huge stalactites, dripstone sheets, and columns inside the Blue Hole. Water levels in the surrounding areas of the sinkhole are so shallow that the coral often breaks the surface at low tide. The water color of the swallow hole is deep blue in contrast with the aquamarine color of the water neighboring it. The hole has got a great fan following in the world, and the Belize locals have a keen desire to have the hole anointed with the title of being one of the world's 7 wonders. The Discovery Channel in 2012 announced the Great Blue Hole as number 1 on its list of History of the Great Blue Hole of Belize. Researchers think that this massive submarine sinkhole was initially formed during the last glacial period as a limestone cave system, when the sea levels were lower. However, the cave was later flooded when the sea began to rise, eventually forming a circular hole. Because of the increasing water levels and the consequent rise in the ocean level, the cavern's roof was brought down while the inner portion remained intact, albeit submerged under the deluge of the water. A plethora of analyses has claimed that the period of formation of the blue hole was 153,000, 60,000, and 15,000 years ago, and the name the Great Blue Hole was given to the hole by British diver and author Ned Middleton in his book 10 Years Underwater. He reasoned that if Australia could have the Great Barrier Reef, Belize City could also have the Great Blue Hole. The uniqueness of the Belize Hole came to light first when the world-renowned explorer of that time, Jacques-Yves Cousteau, made a pioneering discovery about its in-depth coffers with the help of his vessel, the Calypso, in the early 1970s. The French explorer revealed the secrets of the marvelous blue hole to the world through a television series called The Undersea World of Jacques Cousteau. In addition, the studies undertaken by the explorer and his crew initially suggested that the blue hole in Belize was a limestone cavern of the glacial era formed due to the shallowness of the water. Formation and exploration. The Great Blue Hole is believed to be the outcome of the progressive collapse of a cave system that had been formed many thousands of years ago when the sea levels were much lower. Evaluation of stalactites found in the blue hole showed that the formation of the cave system occurred in the period between 153,000 and 15,000 years ago. The cave is further believed to have become flooded when sea levels began to rise. The first person to explore the Great Blue Hole was Jacques Cousteau, who brought his famous research ship, the Calypso, to investigate the depths of the sinkhole in 1972. The expedition was able to conclude that the blue hole was formed before ocean levels rose, and some submerged stalactites found in the hole proved his assertion. It's a karst limestone eroded sinkhole. The expedition led by Cousteau, who ranked the Great Blue Hole among the top 10 scuba diving locations in the world, was what opened up the area to becoming a major point of interest in the world of diving today. The name of the sinkhole is attributed to British author and diver Ned Middleton, who was so impressed by it that he described it as the Great Blue Hole, drawing inspiration from the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. Underneath the surface of the Belize Blue Hole, the explorers found evidence of a hollow interior filled with stalactites and stalagmites. These stalactites acted as veritable proof for the explorers to conclude that the hole was a swallow hole. The depth of the Great Blue Hole was initially measured as 125 meters, 410 feet, while another expedition conducted by the Cambrian Foundation claimed the depth as 124 meters, 407 feet in 1997. Meanwhile, the Blue Hole also offered researchers evidence that helped them understand the mystery of the fall of the Mayan civilization. Researchers from Rice and Louisiana State Universities, in a study published in 2015, have presented the evidence found in the cave supporting the role of climate conditions that ended the civilization. The cave's sediment and lagoon samples help support theories that suggest there were fewer tropical cyclones and longer droughts than normal during the era of the Mayan decline. The scuba dive site and marine life. The Blue Hole in Belize is unlike any other swallow hole and is regarded as the world's biggest marvel. Mr. Cousteau accorded the Swallow Hole the honor of being one of the world's top 10 zones for scuba diving enthusiasts. The average temperature in the Blue Hole is reportedly about 76 Fahrenheit at 130 feet, with little difference throughout the year. The descriptions of the divers pointed to the amazing beauty underneath the waters with those geological formations, and also suggested that the water becomes clearer when one goes deeper. On account of the intense depth of the hole, only experienced divers are advised to enter it. Only experienced divers can stabilize their bodies while deep diving and bringing themselves upwards. Despite these, there have been reported sightings of several other species, including midnight parrotfish, the bull shark, hammerheads, and other juvenile fish species. However, reports also suggest that the marine life in the hole is relatively low, and most of the time, species like sharks pass through. Accidents and presence of monster in Blue Hole. Despite its beauty, the Great Blue Hole of Belize also often witnesses accidents, including the death of divers. According to reports, several divers have so far lost their lives in the darkness of the Blue Hole for various reasons. Even though there are no currents in the Blue Hole, accounts suggest the death occurs due to nitrogen narcosis as they go deeper. According to the reports, divers cross 135 feet or more and start feeling numbing sensation or euphoria, eventually causing death. Interestingly, there are also stories of monsters in the Great Blue Hole of Belize doing rounds. A diving expedition from Kai Colker in the early 1970s and claimed the presence of monsters in the waters, saying they had witnessed an apparition of sea serpent. According to the claims, the sighted beast was 20 long and had red eyes. However, the claims couldn't give any other pieces of evidence rather than creating some apprehension in the minds of divers. At the same time, few suggested, pointing to the description, that the one they saw must be species like ribbonfish or oarfish. Ignoring such doubtful claims, thousands of divers visit the Great Blue Hole of Belize every year to explore the brilliance of nature. The Great Blue Hole of Belize is a natural marvel among the most amazing places on Earth. Final thoughts. Today, the Great Blue Hole in Belize remains one of the least explored places on Earth. Despite the 3D mapping and the footage from 2018, it continues to captivate the imagination and attract explorers from all over the world, seemingly holding a promise that there's still something inside it waiting to be discovered. Apart from being a popular dive site and a site for archaeological research, blue holes have also been identified as hotspots for microbial life. The microbes found here appear to feed on hydrogen sulfide, which is toxic to other life forms. Along with several other blue holes in the world, one of the blue holes in the Bahamas known to have a mat of microbes completely covering the walls. No submarines can be sent down, so one must physically get into the blue hole to completely discover what's down there. Obviously, that can be extremely dangerous. Proper training and certification are necessary to carry out research in a blue hole, which may be why these underwater caves are one of the least understood ecosystems on the planet.